Hi students, welcome to another episode of Exploring My City Through Art. This week, we are going to learn about our lighthouses in New Bedford. We have our Clark's Point Lighthouse at Fort Tabor. We have Butler Flat Lighthouse. And we have Palmer Lighthouse. We are going to be doing a great exercise where we're learning about splatter painting, action painting. We're going to be free doing all this abstract painting. So you're painting, I know you love to paint. But on top of that, then we're going to learn about negative and positive space and shape. And also collage techniques. And I know you love all of those things because we've done collage before. So we're piecing it together at the same time, learning about the lovely lighthouses in New Bedford. So are you ready? Let's begin. Okay, we are going to begin our negative and positive lighthouses. For this part one, we are just doing our background. We'll be doing some interesting painting on our background, and then we will go on to the next stage. So the first thing you want to do is take your large paper. Everybody should have a large sheet of paper, 18 by 24. And you fold it into half, evenly, edge to edge, and crease it down the center, okay? Then you will take your scissors and you will cut it. Take your time and cut it nice and neat. Okay, so I have a warning for parents. This part of the project is quite messy. So, warning, please get a large area. If it's not too cold outside, you can go outside actually. But what I did, that this is a tablecloth. So I have a good table, but I put this old tablecloth on. I always have a tablecloth when I'm painting, my painting tablecloth. So if you can spread out a big tablecloth, you can put it on the ground, you can put it on table, because we are going to paint, but we're also going to splatter our paints. Have you ever done splatter painting before? So much fun. But please, you still have to control it. You do not want to splatter paint all over your house, right? Your parents and guardians would be upset with me if you were to do that. Okay, so we have half the sheet, and we are going to cover our half of the sheet with our splatter painting. And this is going to be used as negative and positive. And I'll show you how cool that will look in part 2. But the first thing we're going to do is get our paints. Now, I'm just going to use the primary colors. I always like to just start off with primary colors and white. If you want to mix other colors, or if you have ready-made colors that you want to use, you can do that as well. So with this, I like to have little containers. So these are my little containers. You can find any kind of recycled containers. I collect a lot of recycled stuff. So this is a yogurt cup. Or you could use a palette with the round. Okay. Anything where there are little kind of pockets. You don't want it on a flat or shallow surface because you want it to, I'm going to mix it with a little water. Okay, so it can flow easily. So I'm going to put some yellow out here, not too much. Primary colors are yellow, red, and blue. Good. And white. So primary colors, yellow, red, and blue. And then we're also going to have some white. So if you have been doing all of the classes with me, we have done a lot of color theory and have spoken about the primary colors that make secondary colors, right? I'm not going to mix our secondary colors because when we do this painting, you're going to be impressed and amazed by how the colors mix together. And then you will see what happens when the yellow and the red mix, and the blue and the red mix, and the yellow and the blue mix, right? You know what those colors are. You'll see it come alive when that happens. Okay. So I'm just going to put a little more yellow in this one. Don't use too much, but just enough. And if you have extra, you can do another sheet. Because I do this in my own paintings. So I will, if I have extra paint, I will paint it on a piece of white paper, splatter it or whatever, and then I use it for collage. So we will be doing collage with this one. So do you see, I don't have an exact measurement, but I have paint and I mixed with a little water. I don't want it too runny at all. Not too runny at all, okay? Now, if you have separate brushes for each color, that's great. If not, then you're just gonna wash them out and then you use the same brush. It's okay. You know, this paint actually that I have is thin enough. I don't think I need to. You can look and see. This is the Blick paint. Right? Acrylic paint. This one I have is tempera, and the tempera will work as well. I prefer acrylic when we're actually painting in things and making details and stuff. But in doing this kind of background painting and splatter painting, this works. This can work very well. But it is thinner, so we really don't have to mix. If it was a thicker acrylic paint, we would want to mix some more, a little water with it. Okay, this one is a little thicker. I feel like some of them have different textures. When we're ready to splatter, we could add some more water. So what I'm going to do actually is we want to start putting down the three colors. So before we splatter, I don't want to splatter because I'm going to see white behind, and I don't want to see any of the white paper behind, because when we cut these out and we make our collage, we're going to put it on top of white paper. So I don't want to see some areas may not have, and it may not create the negative and positive I really want to see. So I'm just going to go and cover my page with some of the colors randomly. See that? Then I'm going to take my yellow. See what happens when I overlap that red with the yellow? I get orange. No rhyme, no reason. Just start to put it down. But I don't want you to put color over color and then you get mud. Okay, so let each color just kind of have its space. It can overlap a little bit, but you don't want like oranges and blues overlapping and creating a bunch of mud. Look at how I'm just going free. I don't want you to take yourself too seriously. We are just filling in the paper. We're filling it in. So we're not going to have any of the white background. Look at that blue, and now my red is a little thick. I'm just going to put a little bit of water. But it's better to just put a touch of water first and then add more. Then you have too much and it's just way too messy. I don't want any of the white of the paper remaining. I go back in with my yellow. Gonna put some yellow up here. How is that? You choose. You don't have to do it like this, you know, but you're using the three colors and you're putting it in. Some are overlapping, but you try not to get too much mud. I want a little more blue up in this corner here. So as you can see, if you did not know what the primary colors make, if you didn't know, I always tell students We're like, artists are like scientists. If you don't know, experiment and see. Mix it. Do it. Have the yellow and the blue together. What happens? They turn into green. The red and the yellow, they turn into orange. Red and blue, purple. So if you don't know that combination, you just test it out. Mix the two and see. Mix the two and see what happens. All right. So this is what we have. Random colors all through. Now you can just do one color to cover the background. You can do all blue or all red or all yellow. And then we start splattering all the colors. But I just wanted the colors to be flat on the background first and then just extra busy. But we'll be still busy. It's really up to you. We're creating our own abstract design, our own abstract painting. Okay? All right, we are ready to splatter. Now remember, when we're splattering, I don't want you splattering high. Splatter low so you don't, get anything. So you have your brush. I put a little water in here. Let me see. See? Not too thin, but it's thin enough where it's drip. It drips a little bit. Okay, so you load your brush. I like to say load my brush, and then you flick. The dots. Longer dots. Sometimes a drizzle. I know sometimes people would take one brush and the other brush and knock it. And I want you to experiment and see what movement, which ones works best for you. When you hit it like this, or when you flick it with your brush. If you put a little more water, you get more of a flick. Right? But not too much. I don't want, right here I had a little too much, it's kind of watery. I like it when it's thicker. So let's use it a little thicker, but able to splatter. Now I have splattered with white. You seeing that? So that looks lovely. And you can stop there, but I want to splatter some of the other colors too. Because the blue, ooh, look at the blue on the yellow. Oh, this is so much fun. Every time we do this with kids, they go berserk. So remember, do not make a mess in your house. We're not in the art room. Usually we do this in the art room. And in the parents' house now, in your guardian's house. So please, you don't want to get paint everywhere. Make sure you have something covering and it's wide. You have a lot of space. And when you're flipping your paintbrush, you're not high up so that it's going everywhere. Okay? So parents, don't be mad with me for doing this exercise. It's so fun and free. Your kids are going to be so free doing this. I love doing it. And I do this in my work all the time, right? Sometimes I start a painting like this and then it develops into a lot more. Or I do this and I rip it up for collage paper. We'll be using this for collage and I'll show you how. We won't be ripping it up though. All right, so we had yellow in there. Which I don't use. I didn't use red. Let's use some red. So this is our one page that we'll be doing. Leave the other half of this white because we're going to come back for part 2 and I'll show you what to do with the white page. But if you have extra paper at home, I would suggest do a few more of these just for fun. And you can do them as finished pieces that you can hang on your wall. How fun is that? Or if you love doing collages, you can do extra and just have it. Or if you like working in your journals, I do this in my journals too and have it. Look at that, splatter painting. Okay, action painting, splatter painting. If you learned about Jackson Pollock in art history, this is what he did. Splatter painting. Okay. All right. So this has to dry. It has to dry for like about overnight, depending on how thick the paint is, maybe a little more. So you want to put that aside. So that is your first assignment, your first part. You can have fun with this and do many sheets of paper. Okay? Let me just show you a fun thing. If you have colored paper like construction paper, I know kids always have construction paper. I love construction paper, all the different colors and stuff. Let's try a few. So I'm going to take this and put it aside. But if you have some construction paper, look at the black. I love the black construction paper because the colors stand out. The other colors too, but look at that. So you don't need to do this. I'm just showing you. If you have construction paper, you can use any color you want. And then you can do the same splatter. If you have more paint left over. Look at the white on that. Ooh, so beautiful. Just have fun with this. This is meditative. This just makes you relaxed, you know? Look at that. Oh, that's lovely. Right? So you could just have fun with some extra paper that you have. But we did our main one, which is over here. And this is what we will be using for our next class, our part 2 of this exercise. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. We are going to continue our negative and positive Lighthouse, New Bedford Lighthouse project. Now, part 1, we did our background painting. We did splatter painting. We had a lot of fun. Randomly put down primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. And of course, where they're mixed, you would see the secondary colors, like green, yellow and blue mixed together, orange, red and yellow mixed together, and also purple, red and blue mixed together. And then we splattered on top. So we got a beautiful abstract splatter painting or action painting. And that we will put aside, and you'll see what we're going to do with that after. Now it's time to introduce our lighthouses, our 3 lighthouses of New Bedford. We have Palmer Island. I always want to call it Palmer's Island, but it's Palmer Island. And it's on the west entrance of the New Bedford Harbor. And it's actually on an island. It's a 6-acre island. And there's water around, but it's attached. It looks like it just has water all around it. But there's a piece of land, like an entrance part that's attached to it, to the island itself. Put that aside. We have Butler Flats. I love Butler Flats. And this is in the entrance of the New Bedford Harbor. And you can see it from when you're in the south end, like when you're in Fort Tabor, you can see it very clearly. It's beautiful. And it's in the water, okay? So it's not attached to any part of land like Palmer Island, but it is surrounded by water. And then we have Clark's Point Lighthouse. And that's at Fort Tabor, or otherwise known as Fort Rodman. Okay, it's right on top of the fort, as you can see it here. So it is also attached to the land. All right, so you have your 3 lighthouses, and you will choose which one you want to use, okay? Now remember, we are doing silhouettes all the way around. So I drew out some silhouettes here. So So you will get some examples as well, and you will choose the lighthouse you want to work with, okay? All right, so this one is Clark's Point Lighthouse. See it here? And this is the silhouette. I want you to realize that the silhouette is the outer line, the outline. It's not inner lines, just the outline. So if you are drawing this, you want to just take on these outer lines. This would be also provided for you, so you would have this. But I want you to see it, to be able to look at it and see it. So even though some parts you can see through, you want to go all the way on just the outer rim. Palmer Island. Here we have it here. You can see. Look at the silhouette. Outline. Now, I just had it full at first, but I want you to realize that it's connected to land. So there is like a pathway that connects it to the land. So I added that on. Of course, if this line here would not be a silhouette. So just imagine this all the way around like that. So when we're cutting it out all here. We are not continuing here. We're leaving that strip. And the last one, Butler Flats. Look at the silhouette. Okay? All the way around. No inner lines. Okay? Just the outer line. And we're showing the entire thing because it's surrounded by water. It's not attached to land. Good. So at this point, you would choose which one you would like to do. Okay? So let's get our silhouettes. I'll put our photos on the side. And we're going to decide which one I'm going to do. You will decide which one you want to do, but I'm going to decide. I'm going to do this one. Palmer Island. Palmer Island. All right. And I'll show you exactly what I meant by we're just doing the outline here and we're leaving that strip of land. So you're going to choose your lighthouse and you're going to cut it out. When you cut it out, that's what it's going to help you to make your negative and positive lighthouse design using your lovely decorated paper that we did in part 1. So you're going to carefully go around your lighthouse outline. Carefully. Now, I wonder how many of these lighthouses all of you have seen. You've seen them all? If you live in New Bedford, you definitely might have seen them all. You might think that you haven't seen them all, but I think you would have. Especially Butler Flats. If you live in the south end, you'd be able to recognize it. You can see it. Palmer Island, maybe if you do like the harbor cruise, they take in the summertime, the boat goes around there and tells interesting stories of the harbor. So here we have it. This is ours. So look at that. We have our positive cut out and our negative. Always to remember with the negative and positive, how would you know which one is negative? It's almost like a hole through it. You can put your hands through it. See? Right? And this one you can't. It has space all the way around. Okay, so your positive shape and your negative shape. Good. Put aside. We're going to use this. So let's bring back our patterned paper. Okay, so our patterned paper is here. And we also have the other half of our paper. Do you remember in part 1, we had a large sheet of paper. It was 18 inches by 24 inches, and we cut it into half. And on one half, we did our pattern, our splattered painting. On the other half, we left it. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to fold both pieces in half and cut it down the center. And then we're going to That will make us have 4 pieces. So I just do that. Equally half, crease it down the center. You're going to take your scissors and cut both. So now you're carefully going to cut it right on the crease. If you can't see the crease, you can always use your ruler and pencil and draw a heavy line, and then you can see it. So you have 2 pieces. Just put that aside. And then we cut. Because of this, the colored paper, we can't always see where the line is, but if I turn it on this side, I can clearly see the crease. Good, and we have the 2. All right. So we go back with this, our silhouette, our positive shape, okay? So what we're going to do, we are going to cut this out of here and see what happens. So the easiest way to do this is take one side, you decide which side you want. We're going to use both, okay? And I'm going to flip it over like this, and I'm going to use this to trace out. So you decide where you want to place it, smack in the middle or a little bit to the right or to the left, okay? You're going to take your pencil, you're going to hold this down as secure as you can, and we're going to trace it out. Now, if you think it's going to shift or move, we can glue it down because we're not going to use this again, okay? So maybe that would be a good idea. You glue it down, and then you can easily cut it out. Now, because I have this little piece of the island, I actually want to put it right to the edge. Okay? So I think gluing down would be quite a good idea. Now for this, I'm going to be using our Elmer's school glue. And you pour some out. I have some already in here. I am going to use it thick so that it glues together. Okay, so I have this here. And I am going to put some glue on with my brush. So you have a brush, a nice medium-sized to large brush, so you don't spend the whole time trying to paint on with this a tiny little brush. So get a nice sized brush for your glue. Remember, if you're using one of your paint brushes for your glue, you need to wash it off really good when you're finished. Okay, now remember, if I'm gluing it down, okay, carefully. I want it right at the edge. So I want that piece of the pathway that connects it to the island right at the edge. Look at that. So gluing it down makes it so much easier to cut out because then you don't have to hold this down, take your pencil and outline. You can as well, but this is a good way. However, if you wanted to keep these for other projects, right, you could just use it as a stencil and draw all the way around. So it really is up to you which one you think will be better, okay? All right, now look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut into my beautiful piece of paper. Some of you must be saying, oh no, I don't want to cut it, it's too pretty. Sometimes you just have to take that risk in art. And guess what? Many times, you'll be very surprised and happy that you did, because then you get something even better than you thought you would have gotten. As you can see, I have that black outline, so I'm following it. It's easy to see. I didn't cut off my black outline when I was cutting it the first time from the first piece of paper. Okay, so carefully go all the way around and come back to the end. All right, so I just finished cutting this out, as you can see. Okay, now big reveal. negative and positive. Just like how we did before with the white paper, we had our positive shape of the lighthouse. Now look at that. We have the positive shape with our beautiful pattern. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Then this, you remember I told you how you can tell it's a negative shape? There's a hole through it. You can put your hands through. That's your negative shape right there. That's your positive shape right there. Isn't that lovely? And then the lovely thing is that all the splatter painting that you did, you don't know which part is really going to show up on the lighthouse. Good. So the next step is now we're going to use the other piece of paper that we had that we cut in half. Right? You remember this? We just cut it in half. And we are going to put one on the other and one here. We're going to put our negative shape on top of our white page. So our background becomes a beautiful patterned paper. And then on this one, we're going to put the positive shape here. Okay? And then what happens is our background is a white paper, and our pattern paper is the positive shape on the inside. Okay, great. And so you're going to glue it down. You're going to stick it down. We have our glue, and we're going to do the same thing. Gluing it down. Turn it upside down. Put down your glue generously. Nice large brush. I'm going to put it around the same part where it's going to be. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, you just press it down, make sure it's secure. Look at that. Negative and positive, negative and positive. So the white paper around is a negative, the positive shape is your lighthouse. Let's do the next one. So it echoes. So the positive shape that was in this then goes over here. And this becomes a negative shape, but then when we put it down on top of our white paper, the white part becomes the positive. And the pattern paper becomes the negative, what's behind. Isn't that crazy? How that could create that optical illusion? Okay, so let's turn it over. And then we're taking our glue again with the paintbrush. It's a larger area now, so we generously, that's why it's nice to have a nice big brush, especially when you're gluing large areas. Again, don't forget to go right on the edge. I say this every week because many of us tend to forget to go on the edge, and we just put a little bit of glue on the inside part, and then your pieces are curling, flipping over, and curling up at the edges because they're not glued down properly. Right on the edge. As we are gluing, of course, because the glue is wet, the paper is dry, some parts are going to curl. So you just hold it down with your fingers and apply till the entire sheet is finished. It's completely covered with glue. Okay? Okay, are we ready to put on to our white piece of paper? So now we have this as the background. Okay, carefully. You can try and get help for this, but what you can easily do is just put edge to edge. Seeing what I'm doing there? Edge. So just do one edge at a time. It might go down That's okay. You can get help. Ask somebody to help you if you have anyone to help you. Hold it down. Okay. This little part of the white is showing, so I want to lift it up and I want to ease it over to see. It isn't fully lined up, but that's fine because I can always trim it. It's always a way around things. Again, I just use my hand in a fist and just, heavily kind of pat it down. Look at this. Look at that. That is just wonderful. So wonderful. It's very interesting to see how you can use negative and positive. What is it doing to your eyes? What is it showing you? Okay? This now becomes almost like a landscape behind. And it's so funny how things line up. I was not planning this when I had the blue and the reds. Now this looks like it's a sunset. And this is the horizon line where the sky meets the ocean. This is the ocean. Isn't that lovely? Look at that. Fiery sunset. And then here, right, this is empty space. So you can imagine a landscape here. And this is your lighthouse. Now you can leave it just like this, or you can have some fun. And then, we know that it's negative and positive, and these are fully negative and positive, and you can leave it like that, negative and positive. But you have another sheet here. You can use that on your own for anything else you want to do, or you can cut out different things and add it in. How cool would that be? So let's look at our original picture of Palmer Island. And look at this area here. That's like a little window. What if we were to cut out a little snippet of a window, okay? Now you could just use an edge. You can look and see where you would want to use it, okay? I'm going to cut mine in half just so I can use that middle area that seems to have some really interesting shapes. And I'm going to, go with the reds. And I'm just going to go right in here and cut out a little window. Which is just a little square. And I can put that there. What else can you cut out and put? Do you want to put out like a little bit of the top of the lighthouse? Right? Here. Maybe some of these poles, which is a railing. Okay? You could measure it. I say it's this thick, so I'm going to do a line across. And then I'm just going to do little strips. Strip. They may not be all even, but that's the wonderful thing. And do you know what we're doing right now? So we're doing negative and positive. But the fact that we painted, but now we're cutting the paper and we're going to glue it down, that is called collage. And we talked about collage before, okay? Collage, the word collage comes from the French word coller, and it means to stick. To glue and to stick. So I'm putting glue here. It will dry, clear. And I'm taking my little snippets, and I'm just going to put in my lighthouse railing. How wonderful is that? So now we're just putting in some details inside. And as we're doing that, it is no longer a silhouette because we are seeing things inside. So we learned about one thing, but now that we've created our artwork, we can now take it to the next level and do a lovely design. And that's where the fun is. You're learning specific things, but then you're taking it to the next level. And that's what we're doing. And remember, I told you could leave it how it was before. Look at that. That's nice. And then we have our little window. right around here. Boom. That's where we see in the right. So that is lovely. So we don't want to put too much. We could put like a line across, but we don't want to do anything at the top here, because if we put any more of these colors here, then we will lose. We still want to see that silhouetted outline, okay? I am going to put just a little line across here, like that. Oh, it has yellow. I want another color that won't clash with the yellow. Let's put a red. Out of the strips that I did, oh, okay. Are you seeing that? Good. So we can leave, we don't have to put much on the inside, and this is just optional that you could add on. So there is our lighthouse. Maybe I'll take this part off because I think it's confusing, the outline. But you see, that's what with art is. You change your mind as you go along. I'm just going to snip off this little trim of white at the edge here. And there you have it. Let's look at this one. So now we have this other one. What can we do? Like we did a little bit here. Not too much, just a little. What can we do here? I would love to hear your suggestions. And I know if we were in class together, you would have lots of suggestions. So the first thing I'm going to do is maybe make a strip. Now I have all this paper here that I can use for my collage, because now you have beautiful collage paper. And I'm going to do a thin strip of this part here, which is blue. And I'm going to make a silhouette. I'm going to make a horizon line where the sky meets the earth. Okay? I'm going to cut it here because I don't want it to go over my lighthouse. See here? And then I'm going to continue it on the other side. So where's my glue? Decide where you want, okay? And make a line. Boom. The other one, try to line it up, because you remember, horizon line is straight and even. You don't want one side up and one side down, okay? Yeah, pretty much straight. And then I just click off the excess. What else can I do? I could make a cloud with the same pattern paper. I'm going to make birds. Now, what do you do if you want to draw something? You draw it on the back and then you cut it out. Just like we traced out our lighthouse. Now, the birds, you know when we just make these like that? Well, let's double it so we have something. Look at this. So you can do a few of those. You know what, a trick that I use? Like if I double it or triple it, and I cut on my design, I would get more than one at a time. So then I don't have to sit and cut out a ton of them, or sit and cut out two. So I just doubled it, and that means that when I cut it like this, I get two. Ooh, and they're blue. Put my bird down, and I'm going to put another one here. Oh, where did my other bird go? Sometimes that happens with collage, right? Boom. Look at that. Guys, this is so much fun. I hope you are enjoying this. I hope so. Let's put something else. I'm going to put a cloud. Where would I'm looking for an interesting part of my pattern. Okay, I'm going to use around here. So I turn it over, and I'm going to draw a cloud in the middle here. So let's boop, 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 boop. Let's do two. Boop, boop, boop. I'm going to do a small cloud and a large cloud. If I were doing the same size clouds, I can fold it over and do the same thing I did, like with the birds. Okay, so let's cut out this cloud and see what we get. Now, of course, you can do whatever else you want. What do you want to draw? Do you want to do like semicircular lines, almost like a rainbow? Do you want to do a circle for a sun? Like in my cloud. That's going to go over here. And then maybe a little smaller one. Maybe you could even do a tiny little sailboat and put it in the area where the water is. Maybe you can do, what else? Waves, just to show that there are waves in the ocean. All right, there are my clouds. Oh, this one, you see, I love this because sometimes when I don't pay attention to where I'm cutting it out, I get some interesting colors. So they don't have to be, this is not realistic in terms of the colors, okay? I'm going to put my cloud here. You decide exactly where you want to put stuff. I'm going to put my big cloud over here. You know, sometimes you can put the glue right over as well. With collage, you can do that and just let it dry. It's a good way of securing it also. Look at that. So if you have extra glue, you just paint it on. That's how I do my collage work. Oh, lovely. So you can do waves, or maybe you just can do more lines, okay? And see all of the things you can do with this. So have fun. See what you can add to this one and see what you can add to this one, right? Your positive shape here and your negative shape, but we added some positive elements to it. Isn't that wonderful? So keep going. See what else you want to add. Don't add too much to take away from it, but just enough to make it interesting. This one really, because of all the white space around it, it became, you know, it was just kind of simple compared to this one. But then we added some dynamic elements to it. And just a few little elements made it pop. Okay? So continue and let's see what you get when you are finished. So there you have it. I hope you had a lot of fun. I certainly did. Let's recap what we did. So we learned about the 3 lighthouses in New Bedford. Palmer's Island Lighthouse, which is the one I chose to do. We also have Clark's Point Lighthouse. And we also had Butler Flats. So you get to choose from any one of those. Or if you wanted to do all 3, you could, right? And then we also learned how to make our own collage paper. Look at this beautiful collage paper. Sometimes people go and buy pattern paper in the stores. You can do that, but why just spend money when you can make your own beautiful? Look at this. This is what's left over, and I know you will have some left over too, and you can do other projects with some of these, okay? And so we did that by just using primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and white, and we did splatter painting, action painting. And then we also learned about negative and positive shape and space. And you can see that here with our 2 finished pieces. Okay, so this was the negative. Remember, there was space behind it where you could put your hand through the space. And so that's the white paper behind. And then all of our splatter painting was in the background. And then this one was a positive shape, okay? Positive shape of the lighthouse, negative space all around it. And then we took it to the next level and we added some of the extra collage paper that we had and added different elements, clouds, birds, stripes for to show you that there's water there or sea. It's really up to you. So have fun with it, explore, experiment. That's what it's all about. Okay, and I will see you for another episode of exploring my city through art. Bye!